Hi, I'm Betsy Barbieux, and this is CAM Matters. Come join us today as we have some fun reflecting on what we learned in 2020. You'll enjoy the presentation and the information, so come join us.
Welcome to CAM Matters, Condos, Co-ops, HOAs, and beyond. Betsy Barbieux is an informational leader in Florida on community association living, rights, and obligations. She is an expert on the rights and obligations of owners as well as the association. If you live or are planning to live in the state of Florida, there's a good chance you'll be part of a community association. And by the end of this show, you'll know a little bit more about community associations and why they matter.
Welcome to the show. Betsy Barbieux. I'm Suzanne, Lynn, your host, and today we're going to be talking about, well, what Betsy learned in 2020. Pretty much. I think that's a great way to frame it and to theme it. It kind of inspired me to talk about that because you had someone that contacted you about maybe some grammar problems, and you feel like things maybe got a little sloppy. We got sloppy in 2020, all working from home and, putting on sweatpants and just everything got relaxed, including grammar and proper etiquette when doing business. So let's start with, what did Betsy learn in 2020 before we get into the meat and potatoes?
First, I have to say, I didn't make these up.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
But we can all relate.
Yeah, I think we can relate, but these aren't original to me.
Okay.
The dumbest thing I ever bought was a 2020 planner.
Yes.
I was so bored I called Jake at State Farm just to talk to someone. He asked me what I was wearing.
Okay, now that's concerning.
Okay. In 2019, we were told to stay away from negative people.
Yeah.
In 2020, we were told to stay away from positive people.
Okay.
The one I like the best.
Yeah.
Does anyone know if we can take showers yet, or should we just keep washing our hands?
That's all we ever hear about.
I thought that was really good.
That. Yeah.
And I won't read all these to you, but I'll read one more.
Okay.
I never thought the comment, "I wouldn't touch him with a 6-foot pole," would become a national policy. But here we are. Anyway,
those are great.
Really bad that these are funny.
They're
but
all bumper stickers, man. We need to.
But I actually started a presentation out the other day with this.
Okay.
I was speaking to my CAI chapter.
Yeah.
They had asked me to do something on business communications that they thought we had gotten sloppy too. Okay. And so I started out with this, and so we had a good laugh at the beginning of our presentation.
Before we get into it, what happened to us in 2020? We put on sweatpants, and all of a sudden we lost all our common sense when it came to business knowledge.
I don't know. It just, everything got slack.
Yeah, and then it started getting acceptable. And then we stopped holding each other maybe a little bit more accountable. I'm always very aware when I send you an email. I really do my best. I actually go back and reread it, which I don't normally.
Oh, well, gee, what a concept.
That's a huge compliment.
Let's see, right here.
Suzanne, written on page number 22.
I think that was, go back and read. In conclusion, read what you wrote.
So where do we start with this? Because there were so many things that happened in 2020 as far as getting lax with business. I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. I think that we all can relate to having a nice top on and maybe sweatpants and something not so much for Zoom.
And that was one of those. Every few days, try your jeans on just to make sure they fit. Your pajamas will believe that everything is fine. But how this actually started was actually about 5 or 6 years ago.
Really?
I had a manager contact me who was getting low scores on her performance evaluations.
Okay.
And the scores were low in her email communications. And she would try to write a professional email. She would send me some. And she would try to write it so it sounded professional. And honestly, you couldn't understand a word she said.
Okay.
It was not good.
Okay.
Now, she talked just fine. I said, if you just write the way you talk. And she said, well, can you coach me? Well, yeah. And for 2 years, we had probably 6 or 7 sessions together.
Wow.
During 2 years. But what I did was I wrote a course for her.
that's great.
And I took 5 of these courses, already bound and printed and bound, to the CAI chapter meeting. And I said, I've got 5 of these if anybody wants them. And you know, hands shot up all over the place.
So you saw there's a need.
There's a need.
Yeah.
People were wanting help with their grammar and punctuation and manners. We had topics that we addressed that day. We addressed professional dress. And you know, I'm an image consultant, so I do have an opinion about professional dress, and my opinion is good.
Right.
Manners. We talked about manners. We talked about grammar. And you know, I gave them a little test on grammar.
Yeah.
They didn't do well.
Wow.
They didn't do
and
well.
These are professionals, yeah.
Email, we have a lot of conversation about email. Paper letters, we still do send paper letters. Punctuation, even had people come up to me afterwards and ask me more questions about punctuation. And then telephone etiquette.
That's huge.
So we had those topics that we kind of zoomed through.
Well, it's important because everything you're talking about has to do with communication and how you're presenting yourself and how you're sharing your message. That's very important. If these managers are communicating, there's a reason for that.
Right. And since we weren't meeting so much in public this last year, everything was in writing. And you can be so misunderstood when you're writing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so easy to, you can't read body language, you can't hear the tone in the voice, you can't hear the pace.
Right.
Or the bitch.
Yeah.
You know,
or the softness.
You know, you can't hear any of that.
Yeah.
You can't see any of that.
Right. And if you're reading something and you're already emotional, you're probably going to take it the wrong way. You know?
I mean, if it's a argument,
Right.
like over an architectural denial or
Right.
something, you're going to read it through negative eyes.
Sure. So where do we start?
Well, we started, and I'll just do a few of these if you want, but we start with professional dress.
Okay.
And everybody goes, ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Betsy talking. Oh.
Yeah.
And I just gave a few things because really professional dress is personal one-on-one, so it's hard to give like a blanket statement. But I will say, ladies, lipstick is for your eyes. Let that sink in.
Okay.
Lipstick is for your eyes. It is not for your lips.
Okay, you don't mean apply it to your eyes.
No, I don't mean put it on your eyes. Okay, that's good. That's good. Thank you for clarification. No, it makes your eyes stand out.
Okay.
And where do we do communication from in our American culture? Eyes. We want to see people's eyes. That's why talking with people, to people with sunglasses on is frustrating because you can't see what's behind the lens.
Right.
So you should take your sunglasses off. We've all had hat hair. Everybody's been pulling their hats on, not doing the hair, whether you're a man or a woman, you're doing something else. When you pull a hat down, put sunglasses on, nobody can tell.
Right.
And then if we put a mask on, you can't see your mouth even.
Wow, that's a really good point.
You can't see eyes or mouth.
Yeah.
2/3 of the face is covered.
Wow.
So it's very, very hard to communicate that way.
Well, and you lose trust, sincerity.
So, see, that's the thing. You can't tell if somebody's smirking at you.
Yeah. You know, I heard recently that 92% of communication is nonverbal.
Well, you hear those
92% is what they're saying.
You hear a lot of that, and you hear different statistics, but still high like that. That it's nonverbal.
Yeah.
So we do need to take off the hats and the sunglasses. And the other thing that, not wanting to leave the men in the room out of the conversation, sometimes guys, your socks communicate the wrong thing.
Did you say socks?
I said socks.
Okay.
I said socks. Light socks make whoever is walking towards you look at your feet.
Okay.
Your socks need to be the same darkness as your shoes.
Okay.
Now I'm talking about professional dress. I'm not talking about when you're in boat shoes, no socks, or if you've got tennis shoes on. I'm not talking about that. But if you have dress shoes on, they're probably black, brown, or oxblood. All you need, except for you sock hounds, all you need are black over-the-calf socks.
Okay.
That's all you need. You don't need to ever buy any other socks. But back in the day, when we would go buy men's trousers, the sales clerk would always then nicely lay out
Right.
the socks that match the trouser.
Because they're making commission on it.
Oh, yeah, it's an upsell. You want to supersize those fries, you know? And so if a man was buying a light-colored pair of trousers, then the sales clerk would put light-colored socks.
Sure.
And I would always prep my guys when I would go shopping with them. I'd say, now watch, he's going to try to sell you socks to match these trousers.
Right.
And sure enough, he did, because it's an upsell.
Yeah.
And what you do is say, no, thank you, I just want black over the calf socks.
Yeah.
And that way, if you buy the same type socks, same color all the time, when the dryer eats one,
Oh, yeah. You've always got a match.
You'll have a match in no time flat.
We could spend the rest of the show talking about this. This is amazing.
So anyway,
you have rocked my world.
So anyway, ladies, lipstick and earrings, don't go out without them. And men, the socks need to be the same darkness as your shoes, which just means black. You just need black socks.
I'll tell you what, let's take a break.
Okay.
And let's come back to the rest of your list. Because
Okay.
I need to stew on that a little bit. That was amazing, how you can always have matching socks. We'll be right back.
Are you ready for a new career? Do you have skills or interest in management, real estate, construction, maintenance, accounting, strategic planning, project management, budgets, human resource management, lawn and landscaping, pool services, or any other expertise needed to operate a community association? If you do, community association management could be for you. For more information, feel free to email Betsy at betsy@floridacamschools.com or visit the Florida Cam Schools website at www.floridacamschools.com. Florida Community Association Management continues to grow. Career opportunities abound.
And welcome back to the show. We are talking about what Betsy learned, and I think what we all need to hear from getting a little bit lackadaisical in 2020 when it comes to being professional. We already talked about dress and the matching socks, which just blew me away. That was so cool. But now we're going to move into manners. I think we've lost some manners in 2020. Just, again, getting lax.
One of the things at our CAI chapter that we talked about on the manners, and I'll mention here, is shaking hands. And it's always fun to me to watch a room full of people. And yeah, I do watch everybody as they're coming in because I'm always going to get some material to use during my presentation.
So beware.
So you could be material. But it's interesting how the guys all come in, and in a normal year, everybody's shaking hands.
Right.
And the guys just reach out their hands and they shake hands just like it's normal. But if there's a lady standing in the group, they don't, it's like,
They don't know what to do?
hi.
Yeah.
Don't know,
Yeah.
don't quite know what to do. Guys, it's okay for you to shake our hands, but ladies, let's give the guys a break. Reach your hand out first
Yeah.
and shake hands with them first, so that way they know. And it was funny because in the room when I said that, all the guys are going, please help us out here.
Well, more than ever now with the virus.
And now
you know?
virus, we're doing fist bumps
Okay.
and all this other kind of stuff. But I'm still shaking hands.
Sure.
And so, and did you know that there is a right way to shake hands?
Well, with your right hand.
Well,
I mean, that is it more than that?
well, it's web to web,
Okay.
like
Okay.
web to web.
Okay.
And,
Nice firm
and it's
grip.
straight like that. It's not like turned over
Okay.
or hand on top,
Okay.
but it's web to web, firm grip, not too hard because some people have arthritis and
Okay.
or shoulders
Oh,
or
that's a good thought.
elbows or
Sure.
something. But it's web to web, not this.
Okay. Ooh.
That's just even gross.
Right, especially if a guy does that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's really
I mean,
bad.
It's bad if a girl does
guys,
it, but really bad.
Guys,
yeah.
it is okay. Please shake our hand that way.
Yeah, and a couple up and down like that.
But please don't.
yeah.
Please,
Okay.
no. We
don't like that.
So that was what we did on handshaking. But
Okay.
you know what was so funny? There was one gentleman over here to my right, and he was like sucking it all in. He was having a good time with this because we played a lot in that presentation. And I was talking this way, and we were talking about shaking hands. We had already talked about the glasses and the ball cap and everything. And I was over here, and then when I turned back, would you believe he had put on a ball cap, glasses that were white rimmed glasses, and was looking at me, and I lost it. I laughed so hard. So I went over to him. I said, "Okay, stand up. Now shake my hand wrong."
Yeah, shake it like that. Yeah.
And so he was.
Don't be this guy.
Don't be this. You know. hat, sunglasses, and wimpy handshake.
Yeah.
No. So he was fun to play with. But
So that's definitely manners.
and so eye contact, we need to make eye contact with people, and just a refresher on shaking hands, unless you're still doing the fist bump or the elbow or whatever.
Eye contact. Boy, so much communication goes back to that.
Yes.
What's the next thing that we want to talk about?
Email.
Email. Let's talk about email.
Email. It was interesting because one of the comments had been, what about capital letters? And surely everybody knows by now that you don't type your emails in all caps.
Right. Because you're screaming.
It says to the receiver that you're screaming at them.
Right.
It's also hard to read.
Yeah.
Our eyes, at least in our American culture, English language, we're used to reading sentence case. So it needs to have capitals and lowercase
Right.
letters in your email.
Right.
Also, because most of our emails, as far as managers go, are discoverable, which means they could be subpoenaed in a lawsuit.
Okay.
Your emails need to look like a letter. I want you to think about, would you be embarrassed if your email was brought up in court?
Oh, wow. Because it may be viewed by people?
You need to have a subject line. And by the way, when in a thread, if the subject changes, change the subject line.
Oh,
you are free to change the subject line.
But it asks you, are you sure you want to change the subject line? Yes.
Yes, I want to change, because if you're, or start a new email thread.
Right.
But if it's in the same thread, change the subject line. Also, put your signatures on there. Put your whole signature, your name, your address, your company, your phone number, your email, because a lot of us are reading those from phone, and if you've got your phone number on there, I can just touch it and it'll call you, or I can just touch the email and it'll email you. So you need to take the time to put your signatures on your phone, your iPads, and your computer, and it's professional. Your emails need to be laid out nicely, like a letter. Paragraphs. You know, it is real hard to read an email this long that's all one paragraph.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't know if anyone out there has noticed, but if you ask a series of questions in that, your recipient will only answer the last question.
Oh, no kidding.
That's all they saw.
Wow.
If you take that email and break it up and do bullet points, with questions, you are more likely to get those questions answered.
Point.
It's easier to read down quickly, to skim down, than to try to keep track, and especially if it's capital letters.
Yeah.
It's real hard to keep track of that.
That's really good.
Break your emails up into more paragraphs. Bullets are even better. I like those, and what I'll do when people ask me a series of questions, I'll take that email and copy it and then put it in bullets and then answer each bullet.
That's a great idea. Awesome.
And you all write me a lot and ask me a lot of questions, and I answer. It's easier for me if you'll do it in bullets.
Please. All right, and then we're moving into phone?
Telephone.
Okay.
Telephone. Again, most of our communication this past year has been telephone, text, or email.
What are we doing wrong on the phone now?
You don't smile.
We don't smile on the phone?
Yeah. You don't smile on the phone.
But you can't see on the phone.
But you can hear it.
Oh, okay.
If I say, good morning, Florida CAM Schools. This is Betsy.
Okay.
It sounds different than, good morning, this is Betsy.
Oh, my goodness.
Florida CAM Schools, how can I help you?
Wow.
There's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And there's a huge difference in saying, sure, yes, than saying, okay.
Oh, sure.
I mean,
what people are receiving.
You need to smile.
Yeah.
It just makes people, it's like,
it's warm.
It's almost like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Sure.
Like you're too busy, like you're bothered, like you're angry that you had to answer the phone.
Yeah.
So if you'll just smile. The other thing with leaving messages is give your phone number twice, once at the beginning and once at the end. Wow. And give it slowly. We might not have caller ID.
Right.
There might be some reason why we can't call that number back up.
Sure.
And there's nothing worse than having to listen to a phone message 5 times to get the number.
Just the phone number.
352-836.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's
you
a
know
really
your
good
phone
point.
number, but we don't.
Sure. So once, like, your name, your phone number in the beginning, what you want, and then your phone number again, and your name? Okay.
Yeah, I would say give your name and number at the beginning. Give a message. A lot of us can look things up for you and have it ready when we call you back.
Okay.
But if you just leave a message that says, "Hey, this is Betsy, call me."
Right. Right. Right.
It's like, if you will just give me a little bit of what it is,
Yeah.
I'll have it ready
Yeah.
so that we can do this in one more phone call,
Sure.
not 3.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
I don't know about you, but I don't have time to go back and forth with
Right.
emails. I don't have time to go back and forth with phone calls
Right.
when it could have been done in 1 or 2.
Absolutely.
And I think managers would mostly agree with that.
Sure,
Just
sure.
give information. If you'll leave a detailed, not so detailed that you have to call back because the recorder ran out of room.
Right.
But,
Right.
but if you will leave enough information so that people can research, look up, get a copy. Sometimes all I need is a phone call, and I'll email you back with what you asked for. I don't
So
even have to
simple.
call.
Sure. All right. Well, that wraps up what we learned in 2020. I think that's just scratching the surface. We could probably do every show the rest of this year on that. But thank you so much for being here. Please subscribe, like the YouTube channel, and let your friends know about it. Betsy's doing some amazing things, and we're glad that you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to CAM Matters. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. For more information, feel free to email Betsy at betsy@floridacamschools.com or visit the Florida Cam Schools website at www.floridacamschools.com. Information provided on this show is general in nature and does not constitute legal advice. Please contact a licensed attorney for your specific situation.